We have very minor cosmetic cracking at the windowsills here. Minor cosmetic cracking, very common here as well. Watch your step. We do have minor hairline cracking along the left, right, front, and rear elevations. Cracking element. We have minor cracking. This is blocked. A downspout erosion area. Simple modification of adding a water shedding element there. And we still have a minor cracking here. Just above me. Minor cracking. Along this sill.
Now, this was the area that the inspector was somewhat concerned about because it went up to the eave, correct?
Was that his concern?
Yes.
Okay.
And the two things that he pointed out into the report was that it wasn't as stepped as it was more of a vertical.
Correct.
And then it went up to the eave. So for my clients here, and then he also mentioned right where the tile is in the cement, where it follows right up to there.
Mm-hmm.
That was the area that he mentioned needed your services.
Okay. The cracking here is a common element with stucco application, and it looks like the mortar that they are using to bind the tile onto the roof may have just cured at some point during its curing stage and has cracked. That's a very normal process when we go through the thermal expansion and so forth, the curing process. And then we also have some cracking here. And again, all very, very common elements of stucco application against masonry elements.
Okay, and so the last thing, so these folks are in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And they do come down for the winter months,
Mhm.
and so they know Florida. But they have been living in a condo, so now they're leaving from a condo in Florida to a house in Florida. And I did send them a video about stucco in Florida, but just share with them why we're seeing all of these fine cracks that we're seeing.
Okay. It really is dependent upon the subcontractor the day that they apply the stucco application. There's several different elements to apply in stages. There's 3 stages. It could just be that the final stages with the curing process against masonry, if we do not have it thick enough, begins to crack over time. And I believe that's what we're seeing here. We are up against masonry elements. It's a lot different than if we were up against wood elements. We have more issues at that point, but masonry is able to handle that. There was no other damage around those areas on the interior, which leads us to believe that it's very, very isolated. With the stucco application in the future, just again to seal the cracks and to paint, and that does not cure your stucco thickness, but it will help with any future water intrusion.
Okay. And then sort of a final summary is, as a licensed and certified structural engineer, what would be your conclusion for them as far as how they feel about the report, the house, from a structural standpoint? What would be your conclusion?
Okay, to reiterate, I am a project manager. I am not a licensed
Okay.
structural engineer.
Okay.
But in our opinion, it does appear as very normal. We will have the engineer review the photographs taken on site today. If there's any further comment needed or warranted, he will be in touch with the new buyer.
Okay.
And we will have those images reviewed within the next 24 hours.
Very well. Very well. Well, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
And I appreciate you.
My pleasure.